I'm gonna hit you! Die! Die! Yes, die! He's taking the door on. Die! You're not allowed to live anymore! Phew. That was scary.
One fatal round through the forehead.
Yeah, he kinda looked like a monk as well.
This was deliberate.
That one vanished. Vanished in a black pool. That's another one, eh? Well, Albert fled when wounded, which Lewis pursued Albert. Albert was murdered then. Lewis left the crime scene. The killer Albert might be hiding in Oakmont Port, eh? Albert was murdered. That's a weird creature. Doesn't seem like... doesn't seem unfriendly.
The port is closed by order of Robert Throgmorton. Back off.
So the police worked for them, eh? Don't I know about that?
You look familiar, but old Billy hasn't seen you around.
Nope.
Oh. Yeah. Hey, got a spare bullet, fella? I ain't eaten in days.
Is this Metro?
Ugh, I'll miss the carpenter's food giveaway with this darn port closure.
Stay alert. Monsters lurk underground. They're everywhere.
Loot. There's a shotgun there.
Come closer, troubled soul. Let me tell you what your future holds.
You're some kind of fortune teller?
Yes, my dear, yes. Oh, it's so clear. Your path holds many surprises, newcomer.
Alright, do tell.
Really? Like what?
Not so fast, newcomer. I see many things. For a small fee, I'll tell you some of them.
Alright, how much?
$1?
Your money has no value here, newcomer. After the flood, Oakmonters deal in the practical. Booze, smokes, and bullets. And I'll make it easier for you. I don't smoke.
Alright, one bullet
Let's
then.
hear what my future holds.
Good. Let me focus. The sea will be generous in the coming days. Many gifts delivered, and many will regret partaking.
I don't think I follow.
I see old and new. A hard heart against an iron will. Whoever wins, you win too. But you'll only see that from inside a metal cage. And tall pillars, circled by the dead. A race from one to the next, as time itself laughs.
Well, thank you, I guess.
I'll keep that in mind.
You are welcome. I can't wait to see what you do.
What's your problem?
Oops.
Welcome to Under the Keel. What do you want?
I've seen some unsettling creature around.
Unsettling creatures around. Like nothing I've ever encountered. What are they?
So you met a wild beast, newcomer. No one knows what they are, but consider yourself lucky to still be in one piece. They arrived in the flood. Some say they come from the sea. Others that they are Kay's punishment for us.
And what do you say?
If it bleeds, you can kill it. Keep your gun handy. And if you want to erase the memory, I sell the perfect cure right here. Remember, better to be a coward and live than brave and dead. Unless you're a newcomer.
What does that mean, eh?
I'm looking for a man by the name of Lewis Flynn. Any chance he's here?
Yeah, even if I knew, I don't rat to newcomers.
Well,
as it happens, I know you owe a debt to Mr. Flynn. Trouble is, I found your note near the dead body of Albert Throgmorton, son of Robert. So, it seems Lewis is in trouble. Might have even come here to hide. But you hand him over and he won't be back to collect what you owe. Get me?
Rock. That would explain the blood. Fine. If it gets me out of this mess, you can have him.
So?
He's upstairs. Here's the key. You gotta promise to deal with him once and for all. But save the shooting for outside, huh?
Smart man. There's your good deed for the day.
alright, goodbye. I won't be shooting him inside then. I shot inside! Ha ha ha! What did you?
Hey, who are you? What are you doing?
Charles Reed, private investigator. Mr. Throgmorton hired me to find his son Albert, so I think you know why I'm here.
Ugh,
Oh!
that darn bartender. It
Oh!
was all that crazy ape's fault. You hear me?
Calm down.
I'd rather.
But no,
The apes are rather beautiful compared to the fish face here, right
I got
there.
nothing to hide.
Oh god. Why do you look like that?
Why do you... Your face, it's,
Oh, so you're here to attack me just because I look different to you?
You look ugly!
Friends?
You don't look like a human being!
sorry, I didn't know how to ask. I've just never met someone like you before. I didn't mean any offense.
Innsmouther's bodies were blessed by the sea. You're gonna see a lot of us here, so you better get over it. We are proud of who we are.
Well, you have sharp teeth.
Start at the beginning. What happened?
We were in our house, me, Paul, and Will. Barry'd gone to the sea. Though I told him that it would only bring bad luck. If he'd listened to me, we'd all still be alive.
Come on, Lewis. Focus.
Right. Well, Barry dragged that damn ape to our house. He was bragging about how much Mr. Throgmorton would give us for saving his son. But that ape, he was out cold. Then woke in an instant and started screaming, attacking us. After that, can't remember a thing.
Well, you...
Shot to kill. No warning, no second chances. You pursued Albert even after he fled. Why?
I can't remember it. When he woke, it was like a bloody mist descended over me. First thing I recall after is that darn warehouse and me covered in blood. I had no idea what happened, though. I suspected it had something to do with that ape. Turns out, I was right.
Well, you actually look deliberate.
The things you did to Albert don't look like a bloody rage. A fatal shot to the head, a hidden body. One might start to wonder if it was deliberate.
I don't know what to say. I wasn't myself.
I hear there's a bit of a feud between the Innsmouthers and the Throgmortons. Care to fill me in?
Those apes hated us from the moment we arrived in Oakmont. Our home was destroyed. We just needed a place to stay. The Blackwood Grand family sheltered us, but others were not as hospitable. We needed jobs, food, and medicine. The city denied it all.
And so?
We had to fight for every crumb of bread. And those Throgmortons in their high castle only made our life harder, always conspiring behind our backs, always setting people against us. I'd love to see them suffer like we suffered.
Well,
You mentioned a grand family. What do you mean?
So you're a newcomer, huh? Explains a lot.
Yeah, a newcomer with a gun. Answer the question.
Okay. People here are crazy about bloodlines and tradition and reputation. The head honchos of Oakmont are called the Grand Families. There's the Carpenters, who control most of the city's underworld, the Blackwoods, who share kin with Innsmouthers through the Marsh family.
And let me guess, the Throgmortons.
Right, those filthy apes. Now that most of the Blackwoods are gone, there's nobody left to protect us Innsmouthers.
I think I've got all I need.
Please, Mr. Reed, don't tell Throgmorton about me. I know I'm in no position to ask. I didn't want to do whatever it is I did. Honest, have mercy, please. I have a family. Without me, they'll starve.
well,
This is not exactly cut and dry. I need some time to think.
Perhaps I can offer something to grease your grinds. I still have a few bullets on me.
You think you're the first person to offer me a
No.
bribe?
Please, Mr. Reed.
Now, don't try my patience further, Mr. Flynn.
all evidence collected. Even if he didn't know what he was doing, he did run and hide
Please,
here.
I told you the truth, I swear.
He ran here and hide. It's like, well, you killed someone. Someone is dead. Yeah. Psychic influence or not, Lewis was out to murder Albert Throgmorton. He had a motive too. The mutual hatred between Innsmouthers and the Throgmortons. I must tell Robert Throgmorton the truth and bring the murder to justice, yes. That's what I believe. I didn't mean to hit him.
Mr. Throgmorton, I've encountered something.
What? I don't have all day.
Some unusual creatures. And they sure weren't friendly.
You've seen a wild beast, Mr. Reed. I'm somewhat surprised to see you still alive. Those unsettling things appeared after the flood. I've commissioned a few studies on them, but we know little more than when we started. They're aggressive, but fortunately not immune to gunfire.
Yeah, I learned that firsthand.
Try to avoid them when possible. And when you can't, keep your weapons handy.
Mr. Throgmorton, I'm afraid I have bad news.
No.
Yeah, I found your son in the basement of a nearby warehouse. I'm sorry, but he was murdered. Shot in the head and the body hidden.
It is true.
Be true. No, no, no. I don't believe it. No.
I've tracked down your son's murderer.
Where? Who is he?
Just as I suspected, the Innsmouther Lewis is responsible for your son's murder. He's hiding at the local bar. Just ask the bartender. Seems like he had a bone to pick with your family and took it out on Albert.
Oh, that scum won't be getting off easy. The whole city shall see what happens when you cross the Throgmortons. Justice, bittersweet as it is, shall be served. It's rare for a newcomer to make himself so useful. Thank you.
Mr. Throgmorton, I hate to press you, but do you think you could help me now?
Yes, you've earned it. Gay to think a newcomer climber barely off the boat solves a crime the police couldn't, but I digress. Remind me, what brought you to Oakmont?
Source of division.
I think I'm going mad, Mr. Throgmorton. I see things, visions, and I needed to stop. I was drawn here, or guided, or I don't know. But I believe the source of this madness is here, in Oakmont.
You're not wrong, Mr. Reed. An inexplicable hysteria spread through Oakmont after the flood. I funded an expedition to explore recent geological activity that may be responsible.
Do these cases of hysteria involve shared visions as well?
Since the flood, many Oakmonters have had similar nightmares. Indeed, Professor Doe, the expedition leader, complained of them herself.
Waterlogged ruins with unnatural architecture, a sleeping giant, drowned streets, and a voice calling from the depths.
Her words exactly. She proposed the expedition, desperately wanting to find the cause.
A geological expedition? I'm not sure I follow.
I have reason to believe the flood and this madness have the same source. As above, so below. So I sent men to find out.
Has your expedition found anything?
I do not know. Albert was part of it. His passing cannot be coincidence. Why was he alone at the port? And where are the others?
You mentioned the flood. You think it's more than just a natural disaster?
You weren't here, Mr. Reed. What happened defied scientific explanation.
Do you think your son was killed because the expedition uncovered something?
Is it so hard to believe? I had no news for a week, then Albert, the only one I could trust, comes ashore and is killed.
It does sound suspicious.
Mr. Reed, I want you to find out what's going on. I expect you're as interested in the expedition's results as I am.
If I'm going to look into this, I'll need to know more. Where should I start?
I'll give you the address of the expedition's headquarters and a key.
That's all you can tell me?
Let me be clear, Reed. You do not speak to me like that again.
Oh, a threat, eh?
I just meant the more I know, the better.
I am a busy man. I funded the research, but left all preparations to Professor Doe and Albert. When you've finished, come see me at the Throgmorton family manor. It's in Old Grove. Here, I'll show you.
What about my expenses?
They will be reimbursed after you complete your task. And of course, you've earned some compensation for your work here at the port. I'll also include a fair advance in bullets.
Bullets?
The dollar lost its use here, Mr. Reed. After the flood, Oakmont returned to bartering. Bullets and bills.
Alright then. Case complete. New case. More investigation then. Let's see what inventory. I have 2 weapons. Crafting materials, and then I can craft bullets as well. Skills. This means I think I will do this one. Much more quest points. And craft that. Let's continue to the next case. Whoa, watch out! What a nightmare, eh? Well, let's continue. Lost at sea.
Crew of the Cyclops. Semper Fortis, brothers.
I don't know what exactly sank the USS Cyclops. Only remember the screams and the metal creaking, water filling the deck, and my headache, the worst I ever had. I found myself among the floating seaweed, drowning. A nearby piece of a boat helped me survive, and reached the shore of a small island. They found me on it later, starving, half mad, and babbling about the ancient ruins and their denizens. I don't know. The officials say none of what I thought I'd seen was real, but my memories are true. My strange powers, gained after that ordeal, proved it. I found something horrible on that island, something old and dark, and slithering, and it still haunts me.
Never again, they say.
Laudanum. Tincture of opium. Huh. Soothes all ailments. Add to any spirits or tonic.
No matter how much of this I chug down, the visions always return.
Oh, I can change that. Gangster. King's robes. They wear. Man of science. Fisherman. Police envoy. Plague Doctor seems pretty cool. Master Sleuth. Cultist, eh? I'll take the wind code, eh? A race of in-mouthers. The number of attacks on the in-mouth immigrants had increased. Raids are intensifying, with more and more in-mouthers exposed to abuse and assault. Sometimes whole families are found dead in their houses. Police are on the case, with several illegal in-mouthers businesses captured and their owners sent to jail. The city ought to have been cleaned of this fish-faced scum long ago, said Robert Throckmorton, head of the Throckmorton Grand family. I regret only one thing. It all started too late. Have we not neglected our civic duties? My son Albert will still be here with us. And the wind are blowing outside there. Mr. Reed, it seems that you have overexerted yourself while conducting the investigation of Mr. Throckmorton. Forgive me for the audacity. I brought you to the Devil's Reef while you were unconscious. Please take more care of yourself in the future. I won't be there for you every time, Giannis. Yeah, thank you.
Makes this place feel more like home. I miss Boston already.
Private investigator. Is somebody home? I boarded up the windows and locked the door. They are just men, the Yellow Kings gang. But they can't get me. They can't get here now. Now there's only me and these nightmares. A little longer and I'll figure them out. Mr. Archer, I've seen you dragging things into your room. Mind the floors. I'll make you pay for any scratches you leave, your landlord.
The door won't budge.
I'm stealing your stuff from others. I steal more stuff. So the lighthouse is out. Several ships have gotten lost at sea, and some are now decorating the city beaches. That's one thing. But now there's an enterprising fellow at the city port hiring salvagers to recover ships. He's turning a tidy profit from selling them. Can't be a coincidence. Coincidence. Need to look into it. Now, if only the city wasn't so impossible to navigate. Coincidences? I have a hard time saying that word. I know. Coincidence. Is that the word? Coincidence? I will forget that anyway. Coincidence. This way. Well, that's this home isn't healthy. Let's go. Someone had a hell. Let's get down then.
Finally, you're awake. Gotta tell you though, mister, you wanna stay on here, you stop making all that noise.
What noise? That's a fish face, eh?
Noise? What noise are you talking about?
I expect my guests to be respectable. Moans, chanting, all that kind of thing. It stops, all right?
I didn't do anything.
Got any proof it was me? It could have been one of my neighbors. I slept like a rock. I didn't hear a thing.
That's exactly what a newcomer would say. Your neighbors are respectable people and would never do such a thing. Don't think your yellow-clad patron means you get away with everything.
You're not exactly friendly with your guests. Aren't we the ones keeping you in business?
All these newcomers after the flood, they're stark raving mad.
What do you mean?
You can't imagine the crazy notes and books I find after they move out. Only thing they're good for is lighting the kitchen stove.
Can I have a look?
I knew it. I tell you, no one sane would be interested. And you want to take a look? Well, fine. Take what you wish.
Alright. Letters from Oak Mode.
I'm watching you, newcomer.
Too bad I cannot do anything. Darren, I think I'm finally starting to figure this out. Locals use signs to mark a special place that you know already, kind of like the secret sign hobos use all over the country. What I learned is that the tradition dates back to times well before the flood. I've been able to find the meaning of some of them. If you see the crooked H-shaped sign on the doors around town, that means the house is inhabited. The crosshatched grid signs marks hidden caches of useful items. The V-shaped sign is for barricaded, dangerous places. Good cache there, they say. Still haven't figured out the spiral-shaped signs, though. Got to investigate for yourself. And if you see a sign with a cross and 3 Ks, reach for the gun. K. Oh, now I know. Like that one, grid shape. Dear Victor, how is Ogmont treating you? Should you require any support, the Blackwoods will be happy to help you. I've arranged for that. Regarding your question, I don't know where Robert went, sadly. Only that he did not stay in Innsmouth. Perhaps there is hope he didn't perish in the cursed raid. Take good care of the hotel, please. Plenty of our relatives were interested in the property. But you are still my favorite nephew. And I know the Devil's Reef is in good hands. Alright. I'll remember the signs. Alright, so let's see. Casebook. We do the letters of Oak Mode. This is gonna... You can skip past this if you don't want me to read, but if you want to know the story, I'll read this. This city, no matter how badly the flood damaged it, has an unnatural appeal. I can't stop myself from walking, even if it means being struck by future feather visions. I went to the eastern part of the Salvation Harbor, near the crossing of Fitzcallahan Street and Old Church Road. It came, the feeling of loneliness. The fear was immense. I was a woman, locked in a room, infected, slowly rotting. My body turned into something. It itched badly, and my face, I had to hold the skin with both hands to prevent it from growing until I suffocated. I now sitting on the road, crying, till some inmouther kicked me and ordered me away. The visions are testing me, playing with my mind. My old forgotten fears come to life. When I was small, I was afraid to stay alone. I thought my parents will leave and never come back. Today I went to the eastern street of Coverside. The visions came on the corner of St. Elmo Lane of Kingsport Street. I felt I was alone, but gotten in a locked room, hungry and frightened. It was so scary to stay inside, but everything was so much worse behind the door. Something scratched in the corridor, and there were terrifying screams from outside. I could not run, could not hide. I just waited for Mom to return. I'm afraid someone stalks me. It started when I visited Western Advent and had a vision at the intersection of Purity Road and Oak Street. I saw mirrors full of reflections and someone trapped, trying in vain to escape. His expression of fear and panic shook me deeply. After that, a very tall and skinny man started following me in the distance. What troubles me is that I see him in the reflections, but I have never caught me a straight view of this stalker. I'm sure the police will mock me if I come asking for protection. Seems it is time to buy a good, trustworthy gun. Start practicing. So many. No matter how different my vision may be, they are always so frightening. Today was a man. He left the house in Southern Aldgrove on the Warwick Street, somewhere between Seaside and Hillside Streets. Our eyes met, and I immediately felt burning exaltation, a wild torrent of emotions. I saw him among the monstrosities, touching them, embracing, kissing. The vision was intense. I bent in two and threw up all my breakfast. We have walked past, saying something like, "Cursed newcomers," and I prayed he wouldn't stop to help. Even now, when I close my eyes, I see the creatures around this man. Tonight, the air forced me to leave the hotel. The putrid smell of rotting seaweed and fish made it hard to breathe. I remember a huge apple tree and thought it might be nicer there. Moreover, I was afraid that the hotel owner will see my Caesars. The visions occurred when I was a few blocks from the apple tree. Walking E. Brown Street in the central shells, felt I was drowning. I ran forward. When I passed the street of St. Michael's Church, I felt the water surrounding me, pressing, calling. I needed all my will to fight the desire to go to the mare and sink into its depths. I was walking in Lombard Street in Eastern Reed Heights when it happened again. It's not just a vision, but a noise. Hissing radio static, growing louder and louder. Voices from afar were lost in it, crying desperately. I tried not to show how bad it was. I was afraid to reveal it to the locals. The images came after I passed Bullock Street towards Hillock Street. The hissing flooded my mind, and I saw a man surrounded by radios, talking to them. He was dying. I felt it, and when it happened, the vision was gone. I'm afraid of the bathroom and the kitchen sink. Each time I want to wash my hands, I tremble in fear. What if they talk to me? This began after a vision in Western Reed Heights, near the crossing of Avon Ward and Baker Streets. I saw a man, naked and covered in blood, in a room without doors and or windows. Surrounded by the dark holes of the pipes, he was cutting himself, piece by piece, feeling those copper mouths. They were whispering with voices so sweet and promising, but full of hunger and hatred. How could he believe them? Could he even escape? And had they noticed me? I can't help to turn around any noise after what I saw yesterday. I walked down the Murdoch Avenue in Western Advent near Oak Street. I was hit with excruciating migraine. My nose started to bleed and the vision came. I saw one man writing a letter, another about to strike him from behind. Somehow, I was both the spectator and the sitting man. But no matter how I cried out warnings or tried to move, it didn't work. It seems I lost consciousness when the killer hit the man's head, and it took me several hours to get back to the hotel after. After this vision, I shake in fear at the sound of the child's cry. It happened in the Western Reed Heights on Washington Street. I passed Avon Street and was heading towards Oak Street, but saw it. The thing was running so fast I didn't even understand what it was. It jumped from the window and the vision struck me immediately. I saw a man, a doctor, hiding in the room. He was writing something with a shaking hand, something like a last will. And then I saw the thing stalking him, a fetus on thin pointed legs, with a little face full of evil and hatred. It's shrieking. I cannot forget it. The local Innsmouthers scare me a lot. I've never seen a place with so many ill people. The faces pursue me even in visions. Recently I was in the northern part of Grimhaven Bay, walking down Whisper Street. I barely made it to Hubbard Avenue when the vision came. I stood among many Innsmouthers, disguised as one of them, and listened. The leader read the story of a captain participating in pagan rites, copulating with savage witches and beasts, bringing sacrifices. I still remember his name, Obed. Today I fell asleep on the street. I'm sure it's connected to my visions somehow, because I felt the same nausea and headaches as before the strike. It happened in Coverside, near the corner of Tanner Street and Old Church Road. I felt dizzy. My mouth was full of bittersweet taste. I saw a woman with kind eyes, giving me a drink and whispering something. Immediately after that I fell asleep, and spent nearly half a day lying in the dirt like a hobo. It's a miracle no one stole anything from me. The hotel owner allowed me to look through the weird notes he found in the rooms of the disappeared newcomers. Among them I found travel pages from the diary of a man describing his life in Oakmont. He suffered from visions and marked the places where they happened. Was he trying to avoid them? Or what? Let's do this letters from Oakmont. It seems interesting. Walter, can I help you if you hear you're peddling your cheap affordable living again? I could live with you renting out beast-ridden flop houses, but you're cutting into my profit. Don't make that mistake. I know you're on the fish market. I have dangerous people living here that I can send after you. You've been warned, Wick. Well.
I'm watching you, newcomer.
Yeah. Well, it seems like a good old street. This is a big map. Oh man. This is gonna take a while. And of course you travel by boat. Because of the flood, I guess. Chronicle, eh? The police department. The hospital. University City Hall. Infested area. There's also a boat. Did I level up anything? No. Selling cars here, eh? Guess no one wants to buy any cars anymore. Is he dead? Who killed him? That's a mystery to solve as well. It's so depressing here. What the hell was that for? What the hell was that for? Did he just shoot him out of... I don't know anymore.
Officer?
Well, look who finally decided to show up. If it ain't Charles Reed, the genius to crack the case of Albert Throgmorton. Captain Caleb Lyons at your service. What can we simpletons do to assist you, Mr. Holmes?
You and I have a problem, officer.
No. Aside from making everyone in the Oakmont Police Department look like idiots, let me be frank, newcomer. You ain't welcome. You slip up, don't cross a T or dot an I, and I'll treat you like every other criminal here.
Okay. Well, can I use the police archive in the meantime?
You can, but only because of Mr. Throgmorton's patronage. And heed me well, you're on mighty thin ice, and I'll be under it when it breaks. Don't waste my time, newcomer.
Well, he and me have a problem then. Big problem, eh? What did I mean, eh? What is wrong with this music? Hobo signs. V safe sign is for breaking at dangerous places. 2 V's. So this is a dangerous place there. Oh, oh shit. Oh shit. That's a freaking dangerous. What? Let's pick up my gun. I'm gonna die here. Okay, that's the dangerous place. You help me, we can be very best friends. Please, no more monsters, I'm all red and sticky. Oh!